What would you do if you saw a kid standing alone in the cold, trying to sell candy so his sister could get medicine? Would you stop? Would you buy a bar and keep walking? Or would you change his life forever? That's exactly the choice one biker faced, and what happened after that? No one, not the boy, not the crew, not this whole town saw it coming. Because 1 week later, the quiet main street was rattling under the sound of chrome and steel, and the little boy, he wasn't selling candy anymore. He was wearing a leather vest with 3 letters stitched on the back. Letters that meant he'd just been adopted by a family that doesn't break. Before we begin, tell us where you're watching from. Stories like this matter because they remind us that loyalty, kindness, and brotherhood aren't just words. They're something you do. This is the story of 10-year-old Leo Parker, his sick sister Emily, and the day a crew called NFFN rolled in and made a promise they intended to keep. It was late February in Millersburg, a small town where the wind whips through the empty streets like it's got somewhere to be. The sky was a flat sheet of gray, and every breath came out in a cloud. Leo stood in front of the corner Cup Cafe, holding a cardboard box of candy bars. His sneakers were too thin for the weather, his hoodie 2 sizes too small. A handwritten sign was taped to the box, raising money for my sister's medicine. Emily was 7, and she'd been fighting a rare lung condition since she was 2. The pills that helped her breathe cost more than their mom made in a week at the laundromat. People walked by, some giving a quick smile, some pretending not to see him at all. A few dropped coins in the box. One man bought a bar, handed it back, and said, "Keep it, kid." Leo didn't complain. He just shifted from foot to foot to keep warm and called out, "Candy for a good cause. Please help my sister." That's when the rumble came. It wasn't loud at first, just a low growl under the hum of traffic. But it grew, rolling down the street like a storm. Heads turned. Conversations stopped. And then they came into view, 3 motorcycles, gleaming despite the winter grit. At the front, a blacked-out road glide with ape-hanger bars and a headlight like a predator's eye. The lead rider pulled in right in front of Leo. He was a big man, thick beard, leather vest covered in patches, the biggest reading NFFN in bold white letters. He cut the engine and the sudden quiet felt heavy. "You out here all alone, little man?" the biker asked, voice deep but not unkind. "Yes, sir," Leo said. "I'm selling candy for my sister's medicine." The biker's eyes flicked to the sign, then back to Leo. "How much for the whole box?" Leo blinked. "All of it? $30. The man reached into his vest, pulled out a roll of bills, peeled off 100, and tucked it under the candy. "Keep the candy. Give it to your sister." Leo's mouth opened, but before he could speak, the man crouched down to his level. "What's your name, Leo?" "Well, Leo, my name's Brick. I'm gonna tell the rest of the crew about you. You stay strong for your sister, you hear?" Leo nodded. Brick stood, gave him a nod, and roared off with his crew. Leo thought that was the end of it. Just a kind biker passing through. He was wrong. 1 week later, a Saturday morning, the quiet on Maple Street shattered. The rumble started far away, but it didn't fade. It grew and grew until windows rattled and dogs barked. Leo and his mom stepped out onto their front porch, the street filled with motorcycles. Not 3 this time. Not 10. Dozens. Shiny chrome, matte black, custom paint jobs that caught the light. At the front was Brick, but now he wasn't alone. Behind him were men and women in matching vests, all bearing the same letters. NFFN. The neighbors came out, watching in stunned silence as the crew lined both sides of the street. Engines idled, heat rising from the pipes. Brick dismounted, walked up to the porch, and handed Leo a small leather vest. On the back, the NFFN patch, scaled down to fit a kid. "We talked, Leo," Brick said. "We decided you're one of us now. You and your sister, your family." Leo just stared. His mom covered her mouth. Another biker stepped forward, holding a grocery bag. "For Emily," he said. Inside were medicine bottles, paid for in full. Another handed over a gift card for groceries. Another passed an envelope to Leo's mom, thick with cash. And then Brick crouched again, same as he had outside the cafe. You're never gonna stand out there in the cold again, selling candy for medicine. You've got a crew now. Leo tried to speak, but the words got lost somewhere between his throat and his heart. Brick stood, raised his hand, and every single bike roared to life at once. The sound shook the street. Then he said, "Come on, little man, time to ride." They lifted Leo onto the back of Brick's bike, a helmet already waiting. Emily waved from the porch, smiling for the first time in weeks. The crew rolled out together, Leo hanging on, the winter air stinging his cheeks. They rode past the cafe, past the school, past the hospital where Emily had been so many times, every place that had made him feel small, now blurred into the background. When they finally stopped at the park on the edge of town, Brick lifted Leo down and pointed to the horizon. You remember this day, Leo, because family's not just who you're born with, it's who shows up for you when you need it most. Now, Leo still wears that vest every weekend. Emily's health is better, and once a month the NFFN crew rolls down Maple Street just to check in. Some debts aren't paid with money, some are paid with miles, with chrome, with the promise of a ride whenever you need it, and some stories, they ride on forever. If this story hit you in the heart, drop your city in the comments. Got someone you'd do anything for? Tell us their name. And remember, some rides never end.